Yeah, back with us on the SportsMax Zone. We are talking football now. It's not a rumor anymore, you know. Cristiano Ronaldo's agent, George Mendes, it's Portuguese, yeah, so it's George Mendes, has confirmed the 37-year-old wants to leave Manchester United. The Portuguese skipper is said to be unhappy with United's transfer inactivity and the lack of urgency to improve the squad. Despite being United's top goal scorer in all competitions last season, Ronaldo's inclusion in the team has been hotly contested since he made his second debut in August last year. Let's look at his performance numbers last season and what United may miss, well, will miss when he leaves. 38 games, 24 goals. We're talking all competitions, 3 assists. Bruno played 46 games, 10 and 13 goals and assists. Mason Greenwood, who missed a chunk of the season because he got into trouble with the law. Rashford, Sancho and Fred. So only 2 players with 10 or more goals across all competitions. A very poor return because United played in about 4 competitions. The Premier League, the League Cup, the FA Cup and the Champions League. And so it really is, really is shocking that they couldn't get players into double figures, more players into double figures over the course of the season. Speaking of transfers, this is what United are poised to do in the transfer market. Ericsson, verbal agreement they say is in place. Malacia from Feyenoord, medical done. Announcements to be made on Tuesday morning. And then this one, or the stubborn one, the one that they've been pursuing for weeks now, Frankie de Jong. Someone joked and said by the time he comes, he'll be Frankie de Old by the time they're done. So that's a transfer, a business that United are reported to be in. We're joined by our European-based correspondent, Simon Evans, for some perspective. Simon, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, how are you doing?
Very good, Simon, very good. So it is being said that they're shopping Cristiano Ronaldo to some big clubs in Europe, starting with England. They say Chelsea has an interest. Is that just tabloid fodder, or is there something there?
No, there is something there. I think the new Chelsea owner, the American Todd Boehly, who's taken charge of the club after purchasing it from Roman Abramovich, he is reported to have had meetings with Jorge Mendes and discussed, and they're considering whether or not to make a move for it. Of course, he's still under contract to Manchester United, so I would be surprised if Manchester United wanted to sell Cristiano Ronaldo at all. But secondly, be very surprised if they wanted to sell him to a team which, if they're hoping to get back in the Champions League, are a direct rival in that process.
Yeah, but you say surprised if Manchester United want to do business. It was said from Sunday that in the top 5 leagues in Europe, centre-backs apart for every team in the top 5 leagues, Cristiano Ronaldo pressed least effectively than everybody else for the kind of football that Erik ten Hag has made his reputation playing in real terms. Would he be unhappy hearing that Ronaldo wants to leave?
It's hard to say, really. I mean, you're right. If the style of football he wants to play, he would preferably have a centre-forward who did that kind of pressing. But on the other hand, he's also come out and said since he came into the club, now, we can have a degree of scepticism about this because he's not going to come in and say, get rid of Ronaldo straight away, not in public anyway. He said, he can build a team around him and he expects to get goals from him. I mean, he is still an incredible goal scorer. You look at that record, it's pretty impressive. And in the Champions League, he was even more impressive, scoring almost in every game. So can really Ten Hag not build a team that can get the best out of Ronaldo with having 2 pressing wide attackers alongside him and leaving Ronaldo just to concentrate on scoring goals? I think there's a way to build a team that can do that. But if Ronaldo doesn't fancy the Europa League and doesn't think United are rebuilding enough or in the right way, and he wants to go, then, United are probably going to have to let him go.
Yeah, but Simon, where does he go, though? I mean, other than Chelsea, who is going to, fork up £500,000 a week to pay a player who is 37 years old, who doesn't press, and who is not necessarily as effective other than scoring, which many of the teams who we probably go to already have those kind of players?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't underestimate the ability he has to score goals. I mean, I think it's still a pretty important part of the game, isn't it? And he is outstanding at that. He didn't miss many big chances. He puts away the opportunities. He's a world-class finisher. Still is. He hasn't got the legs. He hasn't got the pace. He hasn't got the ability to do all the closing down, nor should he. I mean, it would be a silly way to try and do what Ralph Rangnick did at the start and try and get him to do that. Where does he go, though, is an interesting one, because if United don't want to sell him to Chelsea, there's some rumours flying around on social media that Barcelona might be interested in him. I mean, is he really going to damage that legacy at Real Madrid by going and having a couple of seasons with Barcelona now? Bayern Munich, if they're losing Lewandowski, would they take him? It's a difficult one. I mean, he wants to go and win trophies, we read. So he wants to go to a top team. He still thinks he can win the Champions League. But you're right, there aren't those teams there for him necessarily. So I always thought with Cristiano, he's going to come back to Manchester United, have these 2 seasons, and then either go back to Sporting Lisbon and end his career in that nice circle, or maybe go to MLS and make the whole marketing and branding pitch in the United States. So it's not clear where he could go. That is really the big question now.
But who truly holds the handle, or as opposed to the blade in this circumstance? Because he's still on a contract until the end of next season. Manchester United doesn't really have to let him go. Is there a possibility of a revolt? I mean, he's already missed 1 day of training, citing family issues, but do we see a continuation of this?
You know, when he decides he wants to go, he usually goes, doesn't he? We saw this at Juventus before he went to Manchester United, and he was talking to Manchester City before that, if we remember, before that surprise move from United to sign him this time last year. And, you know, his agent is very good at getting moves for his client. Ronaldo, it would be a disaster for Manchester United to have an unhappy Ronaldo not training, being awkward, wanting to get away. I think it would be a very sad end to his great legacy at Manchester United, which of course goes way beyond this 1 season that we've just had, and to all the success he had in his first period. He's adored by the fans at United. It would be a very, very sad ending. And I find it hard to believe that Ronaldo would go through all that. But, you know, I was a little bit sceptical of this stuff until he didn't turn up for training this morning. And obviously we have to believe the family reasons, but it does seem an awkward coincidence, that.
Yeah, well, what I'm confident of based on the man's record and who he is that he has not asked his agent to see if he can get a club for him. He's instructed his agent to get a move for him. So it's just a matter of where he goes, because I'm guaranteeing everybody that he won't be playing at Manchester United at the start of the season. Simon, we can't discount the fact, of course he's a big-time goal scorer. He's the best goal scorer still operating around. There's no doubt about that. There's nobody active now apart from Lionel Messi, who, when they retire, will have a record like him. And there's nobody now. Harry Kane won't have what he has. There's a fact. None of the boys at Liverpool as good as they. Nobody, yeah? But here's the thing. His presence has a stultifying effect on players. And if anybody believes that that is false, look at the individuals at Manchester United who've gone under a cloud since his arrival. And the fact that Ronaldo's presence means that he won't be second fiddle on the field. He's the pass you should look for if you're chasing the game. He's the pass you should look for if you're attacking and you're in control of the game. He has that kind of effect. I'm wondering if Tuchel wants to take that trouble onto himself, Simon, especially considering what if Portugal does not have a good World Cup, and Ronaldo comes from the World Cup in December to resume, or in January, to resume the club season at 37. How much legs will he have left to finish the very important assignments that are going, trophies are handed out after January. February, the League Cup, the FA Cup after, the Champions League, the league title, all of those things are going to be on the line. What use will a man with so many miles on his legs have for somebody chasing the big trophies in Europe, and then the stultifying effect that he has had on teammates at the clubs he's been in recent times?
Well, I'm not totally buying the stultifying effect on the Manchester United players. I think a lot was going on at Manchester United as well as Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, undoubtedly, the fact that he draws so much attention and demands the ball all the time in the way he wants it, clearly had an impact. But, you know, Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho's seasons were down to a number of other factors.
How do you explain Bruno's season?
Yeah. I mean, you can look at that in the Chelsea context. I don't think it makes a lot of sense because the way Tuchel plays, very high tempo around there, a lot of work going on with, the players like Mount and Pulisic and all that kind of movement and so on, would be quite tricky to see how Ronaldo would fit into that. And they haven't really, Lukaku couldn't fit into the way they play. You need a very particular kind of central striker to work in that kind of three-pronged attack with a number 10 behind. It's a tricky one, a lot of movement, and he's got good movement, but he hasn't got the pace. So there isn't a natural home for him now. There really isn't. And the romantic move would be to go back to Sporting Lisbon, but that doesn't fit in. If we're hearing he wants to win things and still play at the very, very top, then, a retirement-type move doesn't seem to be what he's looking for. But it's a tricky one. I still think Manchester United could get a really good season out of him next year, and I think it's a worrying sign for Manchester United because the last thing he said publicly was that he wants to see United strengthen their squad, go out, build a team that can really challenge and get back to where they want to be next season, and they haven't done it. They haven't done it yet. They've been very slow off the mark in the transfer market. And they, more than any other team from the Big Six, really needed to get on with things this summer.
Simon, Barcelona have said that the issue with De Jong is a salary issue. If Manchester United are not able to pull that move off, or let's put it this way, should they manage to get De Jong, could that change Ronaldo's position of wanting to stay, or is it cut and dried that he's going to leave?
No, I do wonder about that one. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that De Jong, it would be enough for him to say, okay, Manchester United are now contenders again, I want to stay here. And I do wonder what has gone on behind the scenes here, because we know that Ralph Rangnick recommended to Manchester United very early on after he took over from Solskjaer that tried to get rid of Ronaldo in January. And I think Ronaldo would have heard that internally and will have known what stance people took on it. And the club didn't want to sell him for various reasons. I mean, you can imagine amongst the chaos last season, if they'd have been trying to sell Ronaldo in January as well, it would have been, strong protests from the United fans. But I'm not sure. I mean, I do wonder about the De Jong thing and its impact on Ronaldo. If he's sensing that De Jong doesn't actually want to go to Manchester United, if that is the real reason why this isn't, and I don't know if that's the case or not, but there are rumours about, whether it's really about money or whether it's about him saying, I don't want to leave Barcelona and go to a team in the Europa League. If it's that, then you can see Ronaldo thinking, big players don't want to come here. What am I staying here for?
Yeah, well, as we finish up, Simon, at 37 years old, I can understand him. If I were him, I'd want to play Champions League football for the time I have left. I wouldn't want to be mucking it about in the Europa League, and God knows where the draw is made it. I don't know where the fixtures will lead them to. And I also think for Manchester United, the repair must go on without him. He cannot help the club to get back to where they want to, not with this batch. Some other elements are needed to get this club up, because with him on the park, this team isn't competitive. Even though he scores goals because that's what he does, the team isn't competitive. And we saw an alarming fall-off from the team between seasons, suggesting that they need a root and branch repair, and it has to start with some key pieces and some sentimental pieces being moved on. For him, if I were him, I'd be doing exactly what he's doing. Mm-hmm. If I were Manchester United, I'd be thankful that, okay, thanks to the gods for not putting us in a situation where we had to say we want to sell him, but he says he wanted to leave, taking the pressure off us and our very unpopular owners. Simon, another day we'll talk about Christian Eriksen, all right?
All right, okay.
All the best. Simon Evans there, our European football correspondent. We take a break. Back with more on The Zone after these.
Thank you for watching SportsMax on YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and to click the notification bell to stay informed.